Have you ever worked so hard toward something that you never stopped to ask whether it was actually worth it? Have you ever chased success so relentlessly that you forgot to question what success was costing you along the way? And what if the most important question in life is the one most ambitious people never pause long enough to ask? There was a man named Victor Hale. From the outside, Victor looked like the kind of person people admired. He was driven, focused, disciplined in a way that made others feel both inspired and slightly intimidated. Victor already had a clear direction. He believed in progress, in momentum, in the idea that life rewards those who keep moving forward without hesitation. He woke up early. He worked late. He rarely allowed himself distractions. To Victor, every hour had a purpose. Every decision was calculated. Every opportunity was something to seize. And over time, it worked. By his early 30s, Victor had built a career many people would envy. A high-paying job, a growing reputation. But there was something else, something quieter, that began to follow him. A subtle feeling he couldn't quite explain. It wasn't failure. It wasn't dissatisfaction. It was something more difficult to define. It felt like distance. The more Victor achieved, the more this feeling grew. At first, he ignored it. He told himself it was just fatigue, just the natural pressure that comes with building something meaningful. He reminded himself that success isn't supposed to feel easy, so he pushed harder, more hours, more goals, more expectations. But slowly, something began to change. His days became fuller, yet somehow emptier. His schedule became more structured, yet his sense of direction became less clear. He found himself completing goals that once excited him, only to feel a strange silence afterward. No real satisfaction, no lasting sense of arrival, just a brief moment of relief, followed by the next target, and then the next, and then the next. One evening, after a particularly long week, Victor stayed late at the office. The building had already emptied. The lights in most rooms were off. The quiet hum of machines filled the space. He sat at his desk, staring at his computer screen. Another project completed, another milestone reached. And yet, something felt missing. For the first time in a long while, Victor didn't open another task. He didn't check his schedule. He just sat there. And in that rare moment of stillness, a thought crossed his mind. A simple question. Why am I doing all of this? Victor had spent so many years focused on how to move forward that he had never stopped to ask why he was moving at all. At first, his mind tried to answer quickly. For success, for security, for recognition, for the future. But each answer felt incomplete. That night, Victor went home later than usual. But instead of feeling productive, he felt unsettled. Over the next few days, the question stayed with him. It appeared in quiet moments, during his commute, in between meetings. Victor started noticing things he hadn't paid attention to before. The conversations he rushed through, the people he hadn't called in months. A week later, Victor met an old mentor for coffee, someone he hadn't seen in years. His mentor, Daniel, was an older man with kind eyes. They sat by the window, watching the city move outside. Did you ever feel like you were doing everything right, but something still felt off? Daniel didn't answer immediately. He simply nodded. Then he said quietly, "Most ambitious people spend their lives asking one question. How do I get more? But there's another question, one that changes everything, and almost no one asks it early enough." Victor leaned forward. "What is it?" Daniel looked out the window for a moment before answering. "At what cost?" The words were simple, but they landed heavily. It's not hard to achieve things in life if you're willing to pay the price. The real question is whether you're paying with the right currency. Some people pay with their time, some with their health, some with their relationships, some with their peace of mind, and most don't realize what they've given up until they can't get it back. The conversation stayed with Victor long after they left the cafe. He noticed how often he traded rest for productivity, how often he chose efficiency over connection. He began to understand something uncomfortable. Over the next few months, Victor didn't make any dramatic changes. He didn't quit his job, but he started asking himself a different set of questions. Before saying yes to another commitment, he paused. Before pushing himself beyond exhaustion, he reconsidered. And slowly, his life began to shift. He still worked hard, but he no longer worked blindly. He started making space for things he had neglected, conversations without a deadline. Victor realized that success is not just about what you achieve, it's about what you keep along the way, your energy, your relationships. If you are someone who is driven, take a moment, pause, and ask yourself the question most people avoid. Not how fast you're moving, but what it's costing you. Because real success is not just about arriving, it's about arriving with the things that matter still intact. Thank you for being here. Thank you for... Don't forget to like, share your thoughts, and subscribe to Life Lessons. Wishing you clarity, balance, and a journey that is truly worth it.